After crisply signing my name on the divorce papers, Erick darkened his face. Julia, don't come begging me to remarry you later. Don't worry. Even if you kneel, I won't regret it. In my past life, I only found out just before I died that our adopted child was Erick's and his sister-in-law's. No wonder every time we argued, he always took her side, and even happily divorced me because the woman he truly loved was her. Although I have another family outside, I gave you the status of my wife, and the company will be managed by the child I have with Anna, so you can rest easy. I was so angry that I nearly choked. Reborn to the day of our divorce, I decisively signed the papers, setting him free and letting myself go. But when I was dressed in a wedding gown, marrying someone else, he was crying with red eyes, kneeling and begging me not to leave him. Chapter 1. The day after the divorce, I ran into Erick on the set. He and Anna were the lead actors, currently standing very close and whispering something, Anna occasionally covering her mouth to laugh. Seeing me walk over, he crossed his long legs and leaned back in his chair, looking at me coldly. What? Just the second day and you can't resist wanting to remarry? If you want to reconcile, just beg me properly. I might consider it. Erick's agent also urged reconciliation. Julia, you've always loved Erick so much, following him around since you were kids. You changed your taste in food because he likes spicy. You changed your clothing style because he likes mature women. You've only been married for 2 years. Can you really bear to divorce? Exactly. Erick's personality is naturally aloof. You know that. Just say something nice. Apologize properly and he'll forgive you. Right. Couples fight at one end of the bed and make up at the other. Who gets divorced just over a fight? His assistant also chimed in, encouraging reconciliation. Chapter 2. I met Erick in college. He was attractive and had good grades, and I fell for him at first sight and began to pursue him. I would travel across half the city to buy him the food he liked. On his birthday, I rented 1,000 drones to celebrate. I followed him to whatever film set he was on to audition. Everyone knew how deeply I loved him. His personality was aloof, and his public persona was that of a cold, distant heartthrob. Even after he agreed to my advances, he remained distant. I didn't mind. I just thought he was not good at expressing feelings, and his so-called persona was his real character. If there were conflicts, I was always the first to back down. It was only later, seeing his gentle smiles in front of Anna, that I realized he wasn't bad at expressing emotions. He just didn't feel that way about me. Unfortunately, in my past life, I didn't understand this. On the rare occasions I complained that he treated Anna better than he treated me, he would convince me with, "She's on her own and raising a child. My brother has already passed away. If we don't take care of her, she'll be completely alone." This time, it was because he stood me up on my birthday. I argued with him, and not only did he not try to appease me, but he also called me unreasonable, saying that a birthday was nothing worth celebrating. I initiated a divorce in my past life. Because I loved him, I went to the civil affairs office and then regretted it and reconciled with him. But this time, I signed the papers and finalized the divorce. Chapter 3. Yes, Julia, Erick has always been aloof. And you know that. The most important thing between spouses is to understand and tolerate each other. You were really too impulsive to divorce this time. Go apologize to Erick. Anna stepped in front of me, taking on an elder's stance, seemingly advising us to reconcile with all her heart. But her eyes carried a mocking smile. I pulled back my hand that she was holding and raised the corner of my mouth in a cold smile. "Since you're so understanding and tolerant of him, why don't you marry him?" Anna's face stiffened. Erick strode over, his expression dark. "Julia, is this your upbringing?" Apologized to Anna. "Did I say something wrong?" "You. Who did wrong? Don't apologize. But instead, you want me, the victim, to apologize. Since she understands and tolerates you so well, I'm just facilitating you both. You should be thanking me." Erick felt humiliated and looked at me with disappointment. "Julia, I know the publicity stunts with Anna upset you, but it's work. You have to understand." "Yes, I understand. Best of luck to you both." Seeing my arms crossed and uncooperative stance, Erick's face grew colder. "If that's your attitude, Then there really is no chance of us getting back together. That's exactly what I hoped for. Anna wiped away a tear, sobbing, "It's all my fault. I never really saw Julia as family. How ridiculous of me to always think of her as a dear sister. I crossed the line." With that, she covered her face and ran off. Erick looked anxious and quickly followed her. Anna. By the afternoon, when it was my turn to shoot, Erick and Anna had already returned. Anna's face was full of emotion. Thinking of their antics made me feel a mix of heartache and anger. In the script, my character was set against Anna's naive and sweet heroine. In this scene, there was a part where we had to slap each other, and Anna gave me a solid slap. I genuinely slapped her back. Anna immediately fell to the ground, covering her cheek and looking at me with a wronged expression. "Julia, didn't we agree it was supposed to be a fake hit? Why did you really hit me?" Erick's expression changed, and he immediately picked up Anna, looking at her face with concern. "Julia, I didn't expect you to be so malicious, deliberately hurting someone during filming." I incredulously widened my eyes at their reversal of blame, pointing to the swelling on my own face. It was clearly her who hit me first. Erick looked at me with disgust. "What does it matter if you get slapped? You have thick skin, but Anna's skin is sensitive and delicate. How could you lay a hand on her?" Erick pulled me aside to make me apologize. "I did nothing wrong. Why should I apologize?" Seeing my lack of cooperation, he harshly slapped me. "Since you so like to slap others, you should also taste what it's like to be slapped." Men and women naturally differ in strength, and I was knocked to the ground, my face burning with pain, and tears immediately flowed from the pain. Erick, seeing my genuine distress, couldn't help but want to come over. Anna immediately cried out in pain. "Ouch. It hurts so much." "Erick, is Julia picking on me because you and I are being promoted as a couple? I'm so scared." My character is always the villain. She won't really hit me in later scenes, will she? I'm too frightened. What should I do? Erick immediately comforted her. "Don't worry. I'm here. She won't dare to bully you anymore. We can't have such a malicious person in the crew. If you don't apologize, you can forget about this role. We'll find someone else." Being a top star, he had the clout to replace actors, and the director would likely accommodate his wishes. Chapter 4. Soon, news about the cast change in the production spread on social media. While everyone was still wondering what was happening, a video of me hitting Anna was leaked. Anna's posted message hinted at being bullied on set, and her fans swarmed my social media account, hurling insults and demanding an apology. Simply removing her from the production is too lenient. That wretch must come out and apologize. Who gave her the right to hit our Anna? If she weren't Erick's wife, who would even know her? Yet she dares to bully on set? Trash. She must apologize. Erick's post asking me to apologize only convinced everyone further that it was all my fault. Even her own husband Erick is asking her to admit her wrongdoing. It's clear this is all Julia's fault. Exactly. If she hadn't done anything wrong, why would Erick protect someone else and not his own wife? "Julia, come out and apologize." I was so furious I was shaking, and with trembling hands, I issued a statement about our divorce, stating I had done nothing wrong. Instantly, it blew up on the trending searches. Erick, furious, called me, "Julia, are you insane? Do you think divorce is something you can just blurt out? We are celebrities. Do you understand?" I wiped the tears from the corner of my eyes. "We are already divorced. Stop calling me from now on. Julia, I see I've been too indulgent with you since you refuse to admit your mistake. Don't blame me for not being nice." Chapter 5. It wasn't long before I saw the post Erick made. A lengthy and emotive text, clearly written by someone else, insinuated that I was spoiled and capricious, recklessly bullying newcomers on set, and that he had asked for a divorce because he couldn't stand it anymore. He even apologized to Anna on my behalf. Instantly, my private messages were flooded with insults. My agent also called me, frantic. "Julia, you need to apologize to Anna right away." Why should I apologize when it's not my fault? Erick has made a deal with the company to bring in several newcomers, on the condition that you apologize. Otherwise, you'll be sidelined. It's your choice. Even knowing Erick's ruthlessness, I was overwhelmed with pain and anger at this moment. I never released an apology, and the company stopped providing me with resources. When I went out to buy groceries, I was doused with rotten eggs by Anna's extremist fans. They surrounded me, shouting insults, claiming Erick and Anna were a couple, and I should not interfere. They even started to pull at my clothes. If it weren't for a passerby who called the police, I would have been stripped naked. Yet, the video still ended up online. Many people saw me covered in rotten eggs and said I deserved it. I was so frightened that I dared not leave the hotel. Then, a notification sounded on my phone. The home security system alerted me to some activity. Erick was embracing Anna, kissing her. Anna, in a panic, pushed him away. There's a camera in the living room. Erick nonchalantly responded. The camera is broken. Anna then relaxed and wrapped her arms around his neck. Julia actually went through with the divorce this time? Erick scoffed. How many times have we fought? Hasn't she always come crawling back? Just watch. She'll be begging to get back together soon. You did give her the title of your wife, but she has no real status. Erick pushed her onto the couch. I may have given her the marriage, but I gave you my love. Anna playfully laughed. She's quite stubborn, isn't she? Getting blackballed, attacked by fans, yet still clenching her teeth and refusing to apologize. What would she think if she knew you were with me at the hot springs on her birthday? What does it matter if she finds out? A few sweet words from me and she comes crawling back like a dog. She loves me so much. I can give her a status, give Lucas a normal family life. But the truth can only be told on her deathbed. After all, who made you my sister-in-law? And Lucas our son? If our affair got out, it would destroy everything. So unfortunately, you just have to endure. Anna giggled. It's thrilling, isn't it? Playing your sister-in-law? You really are a temptress. Watching Erick impatiently tearing Anna's clothes on the couch, I couldn't help but retch over the toilet, tears and snot streaming down uncontrollably. Chapter 6. So, missing my birthday was to spend time at the hot springs with Anna. Adopting Lucas was also to give him a complete family. He had everything planned for them, treating me only as a tool, a pawn. Any last affection I had for him vanished completely. Erick's company crafted his image as a deeply emotional yet reserved person, which made him appear even more devoted as I was being vilified online. The next day, he showed up at my door with Lucas, 5-year-old Lucas, reluctantly tugging at my clothes, said, "Mommy, I've been eating takeout for days. It's terrible. Please come back and cook for me." I coldly moved to shut the door. I'm divorced now. I'm not your mommy anymore. He immediately smiled, then Mommy Anna and Daddy. I looked at Lucas. Anna is your mommy, right? Realizing his mistake, Lucas looked helplessly at Erick. Erick faltered for a moment, then said, I had Lucas acknowledge Anna as his godmother. Isn't it natural for him to call her mommy? Erick quickly gave him a look and then scolded me. I'm giving you a way out. Just take it. I'm busy with filming now. Lucas needs someone to take him to and from school every day. Someone needs to cook for him, and someone needs to wash his clothes. So just go back. Seeing me refuse again, Erick seemingly remembered something and smirked. Are you still mad about not celebrating your birthday? Don't worry. I know you like big gestures. I've rented an entire floor at the hotel next door to celebrate your birthday tomorrow. Many media friends will be there. Everyone will witness your birthday. Are you satisfied now? Watching him smugly thinking he had figured me out, recalling the surveillance video, since he wanted to play a role, I would give him a big surprise tomorrow. Thus, I couldn't help but smile. Sure. Seeing me agree, he looked vindicated. Let Lucas stay with you for now. I have to go back to filming soon. He doesn't like takeout. Make him some food later. I coldly refused. We are divorced now. The child you adopted should naturally stay with you. Lucas immediately clapped his hands in joy. Yay. I can go see Mommy Anna again. Erick frowned. How long are you going to keep this up? We can just get the certificate again. Reflect on why Lucas likes Anna more than you. You better behave from now on. I'll forgive you this time. Julia, I've thought about it. We've been together for 12 years. Lucas can't be without you, and I'm used to having you around. I couldn't help but sneer. You say we should get married just like that. Why should I? Erick, seeing my angry look, suddenly realized. We got married without an engagement party or a wedding ceremony. Are you mad about that? How about I make it up to you with a birthday party tomorrow and propose again? Will that do? Watching his patronizing tone, I curled my lip in mockery. Sure, the bigger the better. Just in time. My plane ticket is for tomorrow. Erick happily left with Lucas. Lucas, bouncing along behind Erick, said, Dad, if Anna mommy is my real mom, why do you still want to marry Julia? Erick shushed him, glancing back at my closed door before he relaxed. We can't tell others about me and your Anna mommy. Lucas pouted unhappily. That woman Julia just makes me do homework. She says my teeth are bad so I can't have candy or soda. I'm so annoyed with her. If it wasn't for her cooking being tasty and her telling me stories at bedtime, I wouldn't want her to be my mom at all. When can you really be with Anna mommy? Erick patted his head. Just bear with it a little longer. When Julia is gone and we've saved enough money, we'll move somewhere where no one knows us and live together. Lucas jumped 3 feet high in excitement. I wish she would die soon. Listening through the crack in the door to my son's words, my heart couldn't help but feel desolate. So he knew Anna was his mom all along. Thinking about it, I realized he does look a lot like Anna. Chapter 7. In my previous life, at the moment of my death, he looked at me with eyes devoid of any warmth. My dad and my mom never got married because of you. Every time they were together, they had to sneak around. I've wished for you to die for a long time, so we could finally be a complete family. After all, he was the child I personally raised. His food, clothes, and education, I handled them all myself. When he got sick, I stayed up all night, wishing I could take on his illness instead. But in the end, I found out that to him, I was nothing more than a tool, a cook and bedtime storyteller. He blamed me for everything, for keeping his family apart, and even wished for my early death. It turns out even his acting skills were inherited, playing the role of my son all his life. Since they were so desperate for Anna to be his mother, I would grant them their wish. Erick had arrived early at the hotel's banquet hall. He was arranging the flowers, laying out the red carpet, and displaying our photos on the large screen on the wall. He was personally overseeing every detail. He had invited over a dozen media outlets who had already started a live broadcast early on. Viewers in the live stream were praising him for being thoughtful and devoted while cursing me, saying I didn't deserve him, and that I was lucky to have such a good man. Dressed in a sleek black suit, Erick maintained his cold and aloof demeanor, but when his assistant mentioned how the audience was marveling at his devotion, he couldn't help but puff out his chest and smile with pride. After today, his reputation would surely soar, and the company would have no choice but to prioritize him with more resources. He had even invited some of his loyal fans and industry friends to the event, planning to use it as a major promotional opportunity. But by noon, I still hadn't shown up. Erick impatiently checked his watch and glanced at his assistant. The assistant shook his head. The call didn't go through. Erick took his phone. I'll call her myself. But all he heard was a busy tone. Anna, sitting nearby, smiled and said to the crowd, I've worked with Julia on several projects. She's always late. Let's wait a bit longer. Lucas, sitting next to her as the flower boy, pouted in dissatisfaction. My mom is always like this, petty and with no sense of time. She always spends a long time putting on makeup, and I'm late for school every time. Anna chuckled and patted his head, making Lucas beam with joy. A fan sitting behind them couldn't help but curse. She really is a shameless woman. She only got into the entertainment industry because of Erick. Now, even when he's proposing, she's acting high and mighty. She doesn't deserve him. Exactly. Taking forever to put on makeup even when taking the kid to school. Typical behavior of an ugly woman. The livestream viewers were also insulting me, saying I was ungrateful and loved to cause drama. Erick, feeling more impatient by the minute, cursed me countless times in his heart but maintained his composed and loving demeanor. Julia has always been like this. I'm the one who's always accommodating her. Thank you all for waiting with me. Meanwhile, I had already arrived in Hong Kong and was sitting in a hotel room, watching the live stream. At that moment, A man in a delivery uniform appeared on screen and handed a small box to Erick. "Are you Mr. Erick? This is a delivery from Miss Julia." Erick let out a breath of relief and smiled broadly. "Julia values the element of surprise. It looks like she's planned something special for me." He eagerly opened the box and took out a USB drive. Chuckling, he said, "She once gave me a USB for my birthday that had all of our happy moments. This must be something similar." He even brought the USB close to the camera, showing it off to the viewers, before speaking tenderly to the camera. "Julia, I've received your message. Now, let's show the world our happy memories." He handed the USB to a nearby staff member to play. Erick confidently faced the camera, posing in what he believed was his most charming position. As the footage began playing, the expressions of the people around him grew increasingly awkward. "We've fought so many times, and every time she's the one who backs down. Just watch. She'll be begging to get back with me soon. Even though she's legally my wife, she doesn't have any real status. I gave her the marriage, but I gave you my love." Erick turned around in shock and saw the screen showing him entangled with Anna on the sofa. "At home, whenever something broke, I was the one to fix it. The security cameras had long been repaired, I just hadn't bothered to inform him." Anna's face paled. "Turn it off!" Erick immediately shouted at the staff. "Turn it off now!" But the reporters in the room were like sharks smelling blood, their cameras clicking as they captured the footage and Erick's and Anna's panicked faces. "She loves me so much. I could give her a title and give Lucas a normal family. But as for the truth, we'll tell her when she's on her deathbed. After all, you're my sister-in-law, and Lucas is our son. If our affair gets out, everything will be ruined, so you'll just have to put up with it. Having fun with my sister-in-law is thrilling, isn't it?" Chapter 8. As Erick rushed to turn off the screen, he was surrounded by reporters. "We've heard you have a brother who passed away. Is Anna really your brother's widow? Is Lucas really the child of you and Anna? Did Miss Julia find out about you too, and that's why she didn't show up today?" At that moment, 2 paternity test documents appeared on the screen. The results show that Lucas and Anna share a biological relationship, but Lucas has no biological connection with Erick. Someone in the crowd suddenly shouted, and all eyes turned to Erick with a different expression. Erick yelled in denial. "That's impossible. Lucas is my son. How could he not be?" Meanwhile, Anna's face had turned completely pale. The reporters swarmed her. "Miss Anna, who is Lucas's real father?" Erick's sharp gaze also locked onto her. Anna opened her mouth, wanting to say it was Erick, but she knew that if Erick did another test, he would still find out the truth. At this moment, she couldn't think of any excuse. Her silence was the answer. Erick gritted his teeth. "You liar. You tricked me." Erick's fans, who had been holding cakes, flowers, and beer, suddenly threw everything at him. "I can't believe I liked you for so long. You're just a scumbag. A rotten cucumber. Ugh. I even insulted Julia, saying she didn't deserve you. But you're the real trash. Cheating with your widowed sister-in-law. Disgusting." Anna was soaked with cake and red wine. "You shameless woman. Seducing your late husband's brother and making him raise another man's child. How thick-skinned can you be? I hate homewreckers the most. All homewreckers should just die." The entire scene was chaotic. The livestream chat exploded as well. Very soon, the resourceful internet users dug up more details and truths. "I was Anna's classmate and attended her wedding. I still have photos from back then. The groom's younger brother looks exactly like Erick. Anna's husband supposedly died after being hit by a car while trying to save someone. They had only been married for a year. Poor brother. He died doing a good deed, and his own brother slept with his wife. Wow. Lucas is 5 years old, which means Erick was cheating during his marriage and didn't even know the child wasn't his. Julia is actually the real victim here. She treated Lucas so well and was never late. She always participated in the kindergarten activities. Unlike Lucas, who didn't like her and called her a plain, boring housewife. Someone who worked with Julia on set is here to clarify. Julia was never late to filming, was always professional, and even shared homemade snacks with the crew. Erick and Anna weren't just acting for the cameras when they were promoting their on-screen romance. Even when they weren't filming, they were showing off their love right in front of Julia. It's disgusting. I just want to know, Who's the kid's real father? I work at a bar, and you guys know the kind of male models we have there. Based on the kid's birth date, Anna was a regular at our place during that time. To back it up, the person shared a few photos. In the pictures, Anna, wearing a tank top and shorts, was passionately kissing a man. It was a stark contrast to her innocent, pure image, but it didn't stop the fans from recognizing her. The scandal was soon fully exposed. The drama they were filming replaced them with new actors, and the show currently airing faced widespread boycotts and the risk of huge financial losses. The company cut off all their resources, and both Erick and Anna were blacklisted. Chapter 9. Erick did another paternity test and confirmed that Lucas was indeed not his biological child. He grabbed Anna by the neck in a fit of rage. You dared to lie to me. You *TCH. This is all your fault. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have ended up like this. Anna's face turned red as she struggled for air. Didn't you say you loved everything about me? Why does the child's bloodline matter so much? Erick slapped her hard across the face. I divorced Julia for a filthy woman like you. I was such a fool. Anna coughed and sneered at him. You're the one who said it was love at first sight when you saw me. If I hadn't married your brother, you said you would have stolen me away. You're the shameless one. Do you think I didn't know about all the times you booked hotel rooms with other actresses? Who are you to call me filthy? Erick's face turned from red to pale as anger consumed him. He stormed out, only to be met by a bucket of red paint thrown at him. A group of fans surrounded them. You filthy cheaters! We believed in you and went after Julia because of you too. We threw eggs at her because of your lies. You scumbags deserve to die. Countless rotten eggs and more red paint were thrown at Erick and Anna, covering them from head to toe. The two of them hid inside their home and didn't dare to come out. Meanwhile, Lucas was taken back to Anna's hometown by her family. At the same time, I was in a remote southern mountain village, filming a movie in isolation. 3 years ago, a new director from Hong Kong had invited me to act, but Erick had laughed at the idea, saying, no serious production would ever invite a small-time actress like you. He also said he didn't trust the nanny to take care of Lucas and couldn't eat food prepared by anyone but me. Feeling soft-hearted, I had rejected the offer, but a few days ago, I received another email from the same director, asking if I would reconsider. I was surprised that, even when my reputation was at its lowest, he was still willing to work with me. He smiled and said, before a pearl emerges from an oyster, it spends time in darkness, but once it comes out, it shines with its own brilliance. He explained that he had been preparing this film for 5 years and had searched for the perfect lead actress. In the end, he believed I was the only one who fit the role. If I didn't take it, the film might never be made. So, I agreed. Even though I had only played small roles in the past, I had always taken my craft seriously. This time, during the 6-month isolated shoot, I completely immersed myself in the role. Another 6 months passed, and the film premiered. It received immense attention and critical acclaim. The movie won Best Picture, and I was awarded Best Actress. Many people flooded my social media with congratulatory messages. Some even apologized for the wrongful accusations they had thrown at me in the past. As I returned to the hotel in my haute couture dress, someone blocked my path. I looked up in surprise to see Erick standing before me. His cheeks were sunken, his eyes exhausted, and his hair a tangled mess, as if it hadn't been groomed in a long time. His clothes were wrinkled and unkempt. If I weren't so familiar with him, I wouldn't have recognized him at all. His gaze was filled with awe as he looked at me, scanning me from head to toe. His tone was complicated. I never thought you could be this beautiful. He stepped forward, trying to hold my hand, but I pulled away in disgust. His face fell, showing hurt and desperation. Julia, I know I hurt you, but I realize my mistakes now. I know you still have feelings for me. Can we start over? I swear I'll treat you well this time. I let out a cold laugh. Didn't you always think I was the one standing in the way of your love with Anna? Now you two can be together openly. Isn't that what you wanted? At the mention of Anna, his face twisted with anger. That *TCH. She was the one who seduced me. She cheated on me with another man, humiliated me, and even made me raise her child. I was deceived by her. She was heartbroken after my brother's death and got drunk. That's how things between us started. But I never really wanted to be with her. You have to believe me. We're not together anymore. She went off with a rich second-generation air. But when his wife found out, she destroyed Anna's face and broke her legs. She's gone back to her hometown. She'll never interfere with us again. Julia, can we start over? I know you still have feelings for me. Let me make it up to you. Hearing about Anna's downfall stunned me for a moment, but it had nothing to do with me anymore. Looking at the pleading in his eyes, I sneered. Why do you think, after your betrayal, after treating me as nothing but a caretaker for your child, I would still love you? Erick, the Julia who loved you is long gone. The woman standing in front of you now is Julia, the best actress, who wants nothing more to do with you. Being with you would only dirty the bright future ahead of me. Erick's face turned ashen, and he staggered, without sparing him another glance. I turned around and walked away. Chapter 10. But he started appearing around me frequently, bringing flowers, gifts, and food. He was trying to pursue me the same way I had once chased after him. Julia, when I had stomach issues, you always brought me nourishing soup on set. Look, I made this for you. I impatiently pushed away the lunchbox he handed me, spilling the soup all over the floor. He stood there, staring at it for a long time before smiling awkwardly. It's okay. If you don't like this, I'll make you something else. I looked at him with a blank expression. Expired food belongs in the trash. The thing I don't like is you. Erick, don't embarrass yourself like this. It just makes me despise you more. He stood frozen for a long time. That day, I received another phone call. A timid child's voice came through the other end. Mom, it's me, Lucas. I miss you so much. I miss the meals you cooked and the bedtime stories you told me. Can you come take me away? Before I could respond, a sharp woman's voice cut in. Lucas! I'm your mother. How dare you call that B*TCH your mom? I'll beat you to death. I could hear the sound of Lucas crying. I don't want you to be my mom. You only hit me and yell at me. I hate you. There were elderly voices trying to mediate in the background, creating a chaotic mess. I hung up and blocked the number. I immersed myself in my career, appearing on variety shows, shooting films and TV dramas. My career was flourishing in every aspect, thriving like never before. The people and things from the past had long been left behind. When the New Year's bells rang, Leo proposed to me. Leo was the director of my first film and the one who had waited 3 years to cast me as the lead actress. The old year had passed, and the new year had arrived. I was ready to begin my new life. Chapter Extra, Erick. Recently, I've been dreaming a lot about the past. This time, I dreamed about the first time I met Julia. She burst into my heart like a ray of sunshine, so sudden, so intense. Her eyes were clean and bright, and I could tell right away that she liked me. Sure enough, she began to pursue me, sending flowers and gifts. I pretended to dislike her lack of reservation, but deep down, I enjoyed the attention and how it boosted my ego. Her heart and soul were completely dedicated to me, and it was no surprise that we eventually got married. The main reason for our marriage was because I had a child with Anna, who was my sister-in-law. Back then, my brother had died in an accident, and one night, Anna and I drank too much and ended up together. She got pregnant. She told me that if she aborted the baby, she wouldn't be able to have children in the future. I couldn't bear to let that happen, so she had the baby. But our identities made it impossible for us to be together publicly, so I needed to find a woman who deeply loved me and could help me take care of the child. I told Julia that Lucas was the child of a distant relative who had died in a car accident, leaving the boy orphaned. Julia believed me without question. Her gaze toward Lucas was filled with love and pity. She personally took care of him when he was a baby and cried at night. She would get up without complaint to comfort him. As Lucas grew older, Julia devoted herself to learning how to be a good mother. She had read too many news reports about nannies abusing children, so she insisted on personally dropping him off and picking him up from preschool. For his nutrition, she researched recipes and cooked different meals to ensure he had a balanced diet. When Lucas was older, Julia began taking on a few minor roles in films. She had formal training and was very talented. A director from Hong Kong noticed her and wanted to cast her as the lead actress. I told her the director wasn't reliable. How could a big production hire a small-time actress? I also used Lucas as an excuse. And she, soft-hearted as always, declined the offer. I breathed a sigh of relief. I had watched the director's work. Every movie he made was critically acclaimed and a box office success. Julia, you're better off staying at home as an ordinary housewife. There's no need for you to shine so brightly. As for me and Anna, our connection deepened because of Lucas. We continued to do things behind closed doors that couldn't see the light of day. Sometimes, when I saw Julia, I felt a bit guilty, but there was also a hidden sense of satisfaction. After all, she loved me, and I had given her the title of wife, which I considered compensation. Because of her overwork, Julia fell gravely ill. I thought she should leave this world knowing the truth. So I told her about Lucas's true identity. I hadn't expected her to be so enraged that she couldn't catch her breath and died on the spot. I regretted telling her. After she left, I planned to register my marriage with Anna. Given our current status, no one would say anything. At our age, no one would even care. But my body suddenly gave out. Lying sick in bed, I looked at my son as he revealed the cruel truth. He wasn't my biological son. Anna stood beside a well-maintained man and held his hand. She confessed that Lucas was the result of a one-night stand with this man when she used to frequent bars. She thanked me for taking care of them all these years. The man added that they had drugged my food so that I would fall ill sooner. Ensuring their reunion, Lucas covered my mouth and nose, whispering, "Don't worry, Dad. I'll manage your entertainment company and all the assets you've worked hard for. You can go in peace." Anger surged through me, filling my chest as I was overwhelmed by betrayal and regret. My eyes widened, but I couldn't take another breath. The last image in my mind was of Julia as she walked away. I finally understood the pain she must have felt back then. It was all my fault. I was nothing but a beast. But they wouldn't have a happy ending either. I had installed a hidden livestream camera in my room to broadcast my will to the company's shareholders. Instead, it captured my murder live. I woke up suddenly, gasping for air, realizing that everything was a memory from my previous life. Checking my phone, I saw a notification of a live broadcast. Today was Julia's wedding day. Panic gripped my heart as I rushed to the venue. There she was, standing in her wedding dress. As stunning as the day we first met, she was like an angel descended from heaven, pure and radiant. Overwhelmed with emotion, I called out to her, "Julia, do you believe in past lives? We spent a lifetime together in the previous one. Please, if you turn back now, we can get it right this time. Forgive me. I swear I'll treat you well in this life." Julia's gaze held surprise at first, but it quickly shifted to understanding. "So, you've been reborn too. That's exactly why I signed the divorce papers without hesitation, to sever all ties with you in this life." My head buzzed as her words hit me. In our previous life, we never signed the divorce papers because she had hesitated and apologized. But in this life, she had signed them without a second thought. She had been reborn long before me. As I looked at her expressionless face, my body trembled uncontrollably, and I fell to my knees. I knew I had lost her forever. "I'm sorry. Please, forgive me." Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Anna, disheveled and wild-eyed, charging toward us with a bucket of something. Overwhelmed by guilt and hatred, I leapt forward. "Watch out!" The high-concentration sulfuric acid splashed across both Anna and me, burning our faces and bodies. The last thing I saw with my ruined eyes was Julia being pulled into the protective embrace of her groom. Behind them, the sky was clear, with white clouds drifting lazily across the blue expanse, and I fell into eternal darkness.